It is time to rake with Jake. Let's bring him on as he is still showing
Jake
offline.
Arnold offline.
I don't know what's going on here.
All right,
It
give me
does
just.
it does this every time. I don't know what's going on here. Can we
Yeah.
get the video here?
Yeah,
There
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard, guys.
I don't know
what
why
are we
it does
doing?
it.
So for some reason, every time you sign in, it adds you as a new guest instead of a returning guest. So I have to change it every time.
That's amazing. Because every year I'm a new me. I mean, every week. It's amazing.
Well, I hope you're a new you because we need to get hot, Jake.
Guys, at the end of the day, we went positive. If you made my bets, you put even units, you made money last week, okay?
I like when people comment because it splats it right over your face. I like that. All right.
Hey, I asked them to. Guys, I want to first start by saying I appreciate all the viewers. I mean, I see we've got quite a few right now. I mean, we're getting close to 50 concurrent right now, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, just a little bit about last week. I want to say I'll never bet Kentucky and Ole Miss ever again.
Dude, that backdoor cover hurt, bro.
Oh,
we should have
been
4-1. I'll give you that. We should. And I got so excited when Ole Miss got that last touchdown, and I'm like, all right, we're good. And then Kentucky does that, dude. That was
it's
what
disgusting.
A bad beat. What
it's
a bad
disgusting.
beat.
Now, granted, UConn helped me out by covering by 7 with the -6.5 I took them. I see we don't give the bonus bets. I did also say I thought Oklahoma would handle business against Michigan, but we'll leave that to the side.
So do we want to do 4-2 then? I do remember that.
No.
I've already changed the graphics.
We're gonna keep it where it's at, guys. I feel really confident about this week, and as I did more research, really my process is pretty simple. I go with my gut. And then I dig in and I say, do I really want this one? Well, absolutely. Absolutely, I want these. By all means, this is one of my most confident ones. The only one I have is going to be kind of a teaser, but I want to start off with one. My buddy Shaw, he's in the chat. I see him, teasing T over here. I have number 1, Florida at LSU -7. This one is. If you watched Florida, I'm going to say something. I completely think Florida showed what type of team they are, and it starts with Billy Napier. The guy has done a terrible job. I truly mean that was the worst 7 minutes of game that I've ever seen, from execution to player responsibility and accountability, and then play calling. There were a lot of out routes thrown. I saw an out route thrown, I think 4 minutes left, and I'm thinking to myself, if you're Florida with the lead, you're going to throw a ball that not only, if it gets incomplete, stops the clock, but you are leading it out of bounds to stop the clock. Unreal job. It's crazy. Shaw, I want to give some backstory on him if we can pull him up. My friend Shaw here is a avid Florida fan. We talked after the game, very upset with Billy Napier. I think I would be even more upset with Strickland, because I have to guess that those guys have a relationship out of the just the casual work one. It's insane. Rhonda, you're absolutely right. It is crazy what he has been able to do.
So beautiful.
That is right there is the most parallel thing I've ever seen. He is awful.
20-20.
Is that his record right now?
20-20.
And we came in this year talking about a playoff spot. Absolutely disgusting. Florida, the only thing that they do is they play the most vanilla ball I've ever seen.
Against the hardest schedule we've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, they've got a gauntlet. They could go 5-7. Now, granted, they have the ability to go 10-2 if anybody else was coaching them. So again, LSU, they've taken a step forward. Florida's taken a step back. They got very fortunate to get, I think, 6 or 5 straight at the back end of the season. Florida's very lucky that they're balanced. They've got a pretty even team. They're more productive in the pass, but I just don't know why. I can't figure it out. One interesting fact is Florida has, I believe, 1 rushing touchdown on the season. That's pretty disgusting. LSU is not any better as far as when you look at the stats, but at least LSU's played somebody. And you'll see, again, I'm going to discredit that USF win a lot when it comes to what happened there. That SFU, whatever I said, USF, whatever the team is. USF's an okay team. That is not a top 15 team, probably not even a top 25 team. Shaw, you're absolutely right. If one loss Florida comes in and they can get through that gauntlet, they are in the playoffs. They're probably the number 2 team in the country. Too bad that you have some Big Ten team that's going to end up undefeated. That's the sad truth. But again, LSU's coming into this game. They've played Clemson, a great team when it comes to defensive ball. I mean, that's what they wanted to go back to. That's what Brian Kelly's about. They're averaging 360 yards a game, but they're only averaging about 20 points a game. Something's got to give. I love the linebackers for LSU. They're very fast. They're going to be able to stop what Billy Napier's trying to do. I think that they're older, so they're going to be able to recognize these shifts really quickly. I have no question. Honestly, unless there's some magic here, I think this is probably...
Not to cut you off, but I did. Sorry. What blows my mind with Florida is we talk about blue chip ratio in college football a lot. Like, you got to have a certain ratio to even be in contention of championship ball, right?
Yeah.
What if I told you Florida still, even as bad as the last 3-4 years have been, have a better blue chip ratio? Now, for folks that don't know what that means 4 or 5 star players in a ratio versus like 3 stars or below. Florida's blue chip ratio as of this year is still at 52% of their rosters, 4 or 5 star players. That has you above the likes of, tied with Clemson and Auburn, but above Oklahoma, Michigan, Florida State, USC, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Missouri. I mean, like, it's so many teams that they're above that you're like, man, other teams are having so much better years and look better than Florida. And it does kind of, it goes back to Billy Napier.
It's sad. And the worst part about it is you could be sleeping as the Florida head coach and land a 5-star in your back door, in your backyard.
That's right.
It's very, very sad what he's doing with that talent. They have all the ability to be a top 10 team. They should be a top 10 team, but they've just regressed. I don't know what's going on in that locker room. I think when your offensive or your athletic director gets involved with having to talk about it, it's bad.
The comments.
Again, hey guys, I want to go back to Shaw. This guy is a diehard Florida fan living in Tennessee. He is going to take all the hate. He is on the train. If you're a Florida fan, you have to get rid of Billy Napier. It's sickening. Again, this is the easiest pick to me. LSU is going to come out. It's at LSU. I'm going to take them by -7. I'd probably go up as far as, just to tease it, -13.5. So I don't think this is a close.
Full 2 touchdowns.
I think the locker rooms are lost.
That's what I'm afraid of for Florida. For Florida is all out. If they come back and beat LSU or even just make it close, then I at least know that he hasn't lost the locker room.
Yeah.
But this game will show us if he has or not.
Oh, it's a litmus test. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's here to show you exactly what's going on. My second pick is surprisingly one of my most confident picks. So I've got Oregon -27.5 at Northwestern. An absolute mauling.
A big spread, my boy.
Massive. So just to give you a little framework as to what Oregon's doing, they're averaging 64 points a game. Granted, they played nobody.
That's it?
They played nobody.
Tennessee's doing that. I mean,
Tennessee's
59,
up there.
but whatever. I mean,
regardless, Oregon is getting 282 rushing yards a game. All I think about is all the studs they got around the perimeter on offense and defense. They had, I think they're allowing less than 150 passing yards a game, less than 100 rushing yards a game. But again, they've played nobody. But guess what? Notre Dame's a nobody. Notre Dame is a nobody. They've got
Notre Dame.
Whatever. Let's cool that.
It ain't whatever. That's a big
let's clip that up.
Don't clip that. Don't clip that.
Clip that for the views.
Here's what I will say to piggyback on that. I have been calling it since February that Oregon's going to win the Natty this year. I'm saying it now, and I'm going to continue to say it. I'm a believer that Oregon is going to win the Natty. I do think that they're a complete team. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, this is the.
We'll find out. They've not played really anybody, but I'm telling you, Oregon looks good.
So Jake has called his shot. He said Penn State's going to win it. Skylar has called his shot, saying Oregon's going to win it. You know what? Tennessee's winning the Natty this year, guys.
This guy, and we just lost all of our viewers. There it is. All right. No, I like the pick though. Oregon shows no mercy to their, and that's why I think I like this pick, is because even if they're winning by like 24 in the fourth quarter, they're gonna get another touchdown.
If Heupel were to ever, God, I pray this never happens, but if Heupel were to ever leave, Dan Lanning is like the poster child of what I want as our coach. Michael, I know you said that you love Kirby Smart. You think he's the best coach in college football. Dan Lanning, to me, if you're looking at recruiting, you're looking at HR, you're looking at PR.
He took the low hanging fruit there.
I had to. I think I've done this a couple of weeks now. I apologize. I think that looking at what Northwestern is, they had against Tulane, their quarterback alone had 6 turnovers, threw for 4 picks, and lost 2 fumbles. They rushed for 76 yards against Tulane. Tulane ran for 270 yards against Northwestern, if you exclude the sacks. It is going to be a bloodbath. I don't know how this isn't 40. I don't know how this isn't 40.
I agree.
I know it's a Power 4 team. Northwestern, they want to take smart guys. Well, smart guys don't run fast and hit hard. So, again, Oregon minus 27.5 is my most confident bet going into this. I really like this one a lot. I might have said Florida was, but the more I think about how bad Northwestern is, it's pretty bad.
Real quick, Shaw asked if you have any futures bets, like at least for conference winners.
Yeah, as far as conference winners,
Oregon.
if you're wanting to cash out, if we're talking SEC, I really like Oklahoma. I think that Oklahoma, with their schedule, they're
then like
win.
week 8, cash it out.
Yeah. I think that, they've got a staunch defense. They've got a quarterback playing for their guys, and they've got a favorable schedule moving forward. So you should see value there. I mean, everybody's going to take Texas, Georgia, LSU. There's some other teams in there. I'm sure Ole Miss maybe have a little bit better odds. I don't know after the stupid Kentucky loss that I had, but whatever. I digress. I really like that. If Tennessee wins, I don't. You're going to hate me saying this because I'm a homer. I don't think if Tennessee beats Georgia that you need to take that bet just yet. I think that you're going to see the value because of the way Tennessee fans bet is going to go sharp towards losing us money. Sadly, we are a gold mine to Vegas. So just kind of keep that in mind. You can see how volatile this line has been. It's kind of correcting itself with Georgia. So not to say that determines the outcome of the game on Saturday, but I really like Oklahoma. That's the big one to me. I think that they're playing some really high level ball. Going into my third one, and we can even talk about futures in this in a little bit. I love Clemson -3 at Georgia Tech. There's a big part that I don't think a lot of people are, remembering. Clemson's going to get back to business. They've beaten in the last 5 years Georgia Tech by an average margin of 15 points. Clemson's only had 4 touchdowns all season, and they only ran for 31 yards against LSU. That's not like them. They're going to be able to run the ball. Georgia Tech has, not even half of the amount of talent that LSU does on the D line. So, Clemson doesn't. Yeah, Georgia Tech doesn't have half the talent on the D line that LSU did. So they're going to be a lot more favorable. It's going to set up Cade Klubnik. He's not going to have to roll out every other down. Georgia Tech, they're without their starting running back. Keep that in mind. This guy, Jamal Haynes, not Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, he is a beast. That guy, to me, is one of the top running backs off the board. When you start looking at NFL guys, he's averaging 6.3 yards per rush. That is a stupid amount. My buddy Robbie, coming in saying that the Yellow Jackets are going to beat Dabo into that stupid rock. No chance. Good news is, ain't going to happen because they're going to beat them. They're going to come into your crib and take over your crib because it's at Georgia Tech. I hate to tell you, it's not great. They can't throw. They threw for a little over 150 yards against Colorado. Colorado turned the ball over twice, and they barely lost to Colorado, or they barely won against Colorado. I just think that Haynes King will be the best player on the field. No chance. I can name about 7 Clemson players on both sides of the ball.
You are drunk. No shot.
Who are you talking
keep
to?
doubt you.
Me?
You doubted Georgia Tech in week 1 and they proved you wrong.
No, Georgia Tech week 1. Let me go back. I have my notes here.
Okay.
Let's see. Week 1.
I thought you said something about Georgia Tech in week 1.
No. Clemson proved me wrong. I'm bouncing back. I'm hard buying Clemson stock right now. We got to remember this Clemson line is thinner against Georgia Tech than it was against LSU.
That is fair.
Okay. I'm
not doubting you. I'm just saying, like,
we're 3-0 right now.
Put some respect on Haynes King at least. Georgia Tech wouldn't be a ball team without him, dude.
Haynes King has more to worry about, like his mortgage and Social Security, than he does
his insurance job when he gets done. All right.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, he's going to need to buy some insurance on that arm and those legs when this.
No kidding. Hey, life policy. We selling it left and right, ain't we? No,
Yeah.
I got you right on. All right, but I do like the line. Dabo, and I'll say this to counter that. I mean, Dabo needs this.
Yeah,
he better get back on right because they look pretty terrible against. Who were they playing?
LSU, and then they played
Troy. I was like, I was wanting to say Temple, and I'm like, it's not Temple, it's Troy. Man, they look bad. And credit to them for coming back and winning, because I think they were down like 16-3 and then came back and won at 24-16.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think Clemson needs this.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. My fourth one, I have a little bit of a I'm not going to say insider trading. It's illegal, but I know some guys who have been at South Alabama before. So let's go into South Alabama at Auburn. Another big spread. We got to love big numbers right now, because big numbers are going to make us big bucks. Guys, South Alabama, I don't believes in defense this year. They used to. They have had so many players transfer out. I lost count. One of the guys I'm very happy made the practice squad for the Ravens. Shout out to Cuddy. Coached him at East Mississippi. We talked a little bit about this game. South Alabama really had some guys bought in pre-NIL. They just do not have the funds to keep players. Anybody who is worth their weight has transferred out. South Alabama allows touchdowns 60% of the time in the red zone. That's the bottom third without playing anybody just yet. They allow about 220 rushing yards a game. Again, over 200 against Montana State. Montana State, they allowed over 200 if you exclude the sacks. They are not able to stop the run whatsoever. And Auburn is going to do almost like, if you ever you're just getting choked and you're kind of gasping for air. You give them a little bit and then you just keep going at it. That's what Auburn's going to do. Auburn is 85% red zone efficiency with 70% of their red zone trips being a touchdown. That's a recipe for disaster. Every time that you're going to see them trample down the field, Auburn's going to score. They've got a 28-point margin over the last 3 seasons against non-conference opponents, and this is probably Hugh Freeze's best Auburn team since he's been there. Auburn's averaging about 5.5 yards a carry. That's an insane number. That is a really, really good number. Robbie, we hope that Tunde never comes back again. I appreciate you reminding me. I'm glad that you didn't bring him in here. And Auburn will force turnovers. It's very, very cool to see what this matchup is. This is like a rock, paper, scissors, and you've got a lot of rocks and a lot of scissors. I don't see South Alabama winning this game, let alone even keeping it within 30. So
I like it.
Love that bet. Now, guys, this is my favorite one and the one I did the most research on. I love this one, and I hate it because it's a former coaching guy that we all love. I've got South Florida at Miami. I got Miami winning by 17.
Even after USF has gone back-to-back ranked wins.
We're looking at a push bet here.
I mean, guys, this is what happens if they win by 17? Does this make me what? Yeah,
it's a push.
4-0-1.
You don't lose, dude. It's literally just a push, right?
You get your wager back.
I go undefeated. I'm just saying. This is the one that's the most polarizing. I talked to my committee. I think that everybody kind of agrees that this is what the writing on the wall is showing. South Florida's scoring 26 points per game. Their quarterback's throwing 65%. They've only had 5 touchdowns all year, which is kind of shocking when you see who they beat. They've, Boise State, top 25. We all know about the Florida game. I talked about it earlier. Florida, really mishandled that game. One of the worst mishandles I truly believe it's the worst mishandle in the final 7 minutes I've ever seen. South Florida, a little tidbit. Again, something has to give. They have not turned the ball over yet. That is a huge deal. I think they have a +8 turnover margin. That might be the number 1 in the country. I haven't, verified that. And the other thing too is they're 7 for 7 in red zone scoring. They have executed at such a high level with such little. Their quarterback is their leading rusher. I think he's a gamer. But the problem is Miami is eerily similar to kind of what Georgia is able to do with actually running a fun offense. That's the difference between Miami and Georgia. Miami is going to be a death by 1,000 cuts. They ran the ball 38 times against Notre Dame. Granted, they weren't as successful they like to be, but Notre Dame, I truly believe, is a top 7 team. They'll probably be in the playoffs. Even though they lost to Miami. And the other thing is again, going back to something has to give, USF hasn't had a rushing touchdown scored on them yet. So, I think that when what Miami wants to do, they believe in running the rock. I think that with the depth that USF has and knowing that you have a capable quarterback with Carson Beck at Miami, this is going to be one of those where I probably will cover this in the fourth quarter and it'll get kind of away from them in the fourth quarter. I'm really confident in this one, but just to be completely honest, this is out of all of them, the least confident one I have. Just because who knows what the heck is going on if USF beats Miami in their third straight ranked win. Would be electric, but I see the Cinderella story ending here. Just as we see every year in March Madness, somebody goes in, they beat them as they're supposed to, or they're not supposed to, and they come out and they get whopped by a team that actually has the talent top to bottom.
Yeah, so for me, I'm gonna rake with Jake here, on the sports book. But for me, I don't think USF's gonna win this game. But I actually think USF is a very decent team that I think is going to cover the spread. Here's what I will say about Miami. I'm not a fan of Miami. I don't like Mario Cristobal, but I'll say this: Carson Beck didn't look bad, and that defense for Miami actually looked pretty decent against Notre Dame to start the year, and that's what they really needed. I mean, last year they couldn't stop anybody. They had the best quarterback in the nation in Cam Ward, but they couldn't stop anybody. Now they've got a decent defense. I'm not going to say a good defense yet, but they got a decent defense. They can make some noise this year. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But make sure that you do go over to Action 247 Sportsbook. Use our promo code Vol Fanatics. Action 247 is a very proud partner, or we're very proud to be able to partner with them this year, using their lines for everything. Also, make sure that if you do have a gambling problem, you do dial that hotline number on the screen, 1-800-889-9789. You do have to be 21 or older to be able to bet in the state of Tennessee.